Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be homeless as hell and we're going to cook a steak in the middle of a field after a long rainy day in the middle of Austin, Texas, here at Zilker Park. I'm still kind of shy about doing this out in public, to be totally honest. This is technically an open flame, so I'm just worried maybe some militant Karen park rangers just gonna like materialize out of the bushes and just like sprint full tilt at me, but like, put out that flame, or it's like, so, I don't know, dude. I'm a paranoid guy.
Put out that flame, you filthy Vanlife scum!
I'm just, I'm just getting used to this, I want to talk about my cooking setup really fast here. So this little fold-out Japanese table is meant to be like for, sitting on the floor and eating like it's a dining table, right? But I found that it was the perfect length, perfect dimensions to fold up and store safely in my van. And I like to use it out here, like right outside of the step of my van right here, because I can sit as you've seen me sit, and it's at a really comfortable height for me to kind of do my thing. If this was any other camping table, it would be like up to here, and it would just be awkward to kind of manipulate my utensils and cook correctly. So like, this is just perfect for this little cooking sitting down setup that I'm doing right now. So I fold this out, put the stove right there, space for the cutting board, space for my plate, and that's how I cook whenever I cook out of my van. So the steak, as you can see, is sizzling away. Looks really good so far. So while that's cooking, we're gonna go ahead and get this asparagus kind of cut and ready to hit the pan here in a minute. So we're gonna go ahead and do that and get back to yapping. But hey, you know what? I have a beer out here that needs to be open. And it needs to not only be open, but it needs to be drunk, okay? I'm not saying I need to get drunk, but the beer needs to be drunk, I don't know. We're just gonna make it happen. One of the great modern tragedies is having some nice beer that you actually really like. And I don't have a freaking bottle opener. So we're gonna have to employ some little Texan redneck ingenuity here to get this bottle open, harken back to the dorm room days, and do some MacGyver shit to get this open. I think I may have even just found my solution. Come on, yep. There we go. There we go. Hey, we've done it. Ladies and gentlemen, drink them if you got them. If not, we're just glad you're here. Cheers. All right, so this steak is done. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and plate it like so. Boom, done with that. I think this is a good amount of asparagus. I don't wanna have too much. My urine is gonna smell so damn weird. That's gonna be done in probably about 5 or 6 minutes. No big deal. Cooking when it comes to living out of a van is usually one of those pain points that people like to agonize over. And for good reason, If you really do want to stay committed to eating healthy food, which means cooking for yourself, because restaurants and fast food does not supply that. There's very few places that are actually good to eat, that are restaurants and fast food that are actually somewhat healthy. And rightfully so, because people, if you want to commit to cooking your own meals, you obviously want to have the most ergonomic, sensible setup possible. But really, once you get into the rhythm of cooking and doing your thing out here, it doesn't take any longer than if you live in a condo or an apartment or like a house, whatever, you know what I mean? It takes just a little bit more setup, but in terms of actual prep time and actual cooking, it's the same amount of time. It's just done like this, or done inside your van, or done however you have your van set up. So sometimes people get discouraged and think, oh my God, it's gonna take forever. If you really actually just commit to doing it enough times, you'll see, oh, this is actually not taking as long as I thought it was. The only inconvenience in this case is, the idea that is the fact that it actually could just start raining any second now. In which case, yeah, that would suck, but doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. Look at that. It is just how I like it. Just got a little bit of red there. A little bit of red, a little bit more on the well done side, but hey, it's better than having it still mooing. Yep, this asparagus looks good to eat. As Daniel Plainview would say, and there will be blood, I'm finished.
I'm finished.
We're gonna go ahead and plate that. Man, look at that. That looks good, don't it? What I like to do is actually just clean up as quickly as possible because I don't like eating with all this stuff just splayed out for the whole world to see. I don't like it. I prefer to just have that psychological comfort of knowing that the cleaning is done. But first, a little bit of liquid courage to finish the job. Could you imagine if there was like a really warped version of the Popeye cartoon where instead of spinach, it was like alcohol? And he was like an alcoholic. And like in order to function or like complete the mission or the task, he had to just get rip-roaringly drunk. And it's just like, like, I don't know. That just popped in my head. That would be so fucked up. So what I do is I get my handy dandy rinse kit thing out. But this is my rinse kit. It's called the Rinse Kit Cube. And this is like a 10-foot long hose. So I turn it on here. All right, it is now on. It's like my own sink water supply for doing some washing up. See how that works? Look at that, look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Love it. So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna address this pan situation right now. Sometimes I'll be honest, I don't even use soap because I like to kind of season my pan a little bit. I like how this idea of seasoning your pan, which is just kind of leaving it mostly unwashed, probably originated in a college dorm room where dudes just didn't want to frickin' clean off their egg pan. And they're like, it's seasoning. I'm seasoning it.
Dude, your pan's been in the sink all week.
It's all good, bro. I'm just seasoning it.
Gonna go ahead and give it a quick spray like this. Boom. Get it a little bit wet. Then I have my sponge and just, you know, brush it off. So we're gonna go ahead and do this real quick. Here's the thing. I thought about this, guys. I don't have a problem letting this stuff, this runoff off this pan just fall to the ground. We've had so much rain, all this stuff washes away. This is all organic matter anyway. This is all just stuff that's gonna just absorb into the earth for nutrients. I'm not littering. This is not an unsightly mess I'm making. This is just completely victimless here. Rinsing my pan with water, no soap even. So before I have any like Ranger Ricks in my comments going like, well, you should not be, like, I get it, okay? I've thought about this. I weighed the morals and ethics of rinsing a pan in the middle of a field. I think we're good. I think we're in the clear. Just putting that out there.
You spilled that pan juice on my precious park grounds. You're under arrest, you filthy hippie.
So next, we're gonna go ahead and do this knife. Hopefully no one sees me right now because I'm not beating the serial killer in a white van allegations. But yeah, here we go. Now what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna just kind of set all this aside. Hang that there. I also think it'd be really funny if I blurred this out because YouTube is so weird about people showing guns on camera now. So the fact that this somewhat resembles a pistol grip with a shooting function, does this mean my video is gonna get demonetized now? I don't know. But we're gonna go ahead and blur this out because to appease the YouTube algorithm gods, please don't demonetize my video or minimize its reach. Please.
Reese was in fact too lazy to blur out the rinse kit nozzle. The gag simply wasn't worth it.
So that's it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and put my pan away. So the pan and stove are put away underneath my bed right here. So I keep them all in this kind of slide out under bed storage thing. So put the burner here. Actually, I don't put the pan in here, I lied. I put the pan in the other one next to it. So yeah, I put the pan in this one right here. Zip it up like that, stow it back under, and then that's it. Now, the second to last step for cleanup is kind of my favorite part, but I fold up this table and I just give it a good old-fashioned rinse. Boom. Now it's nice and clean. Kind of hang that here to dry for a moment while we do the last step, which is disposing of this garbage from the cooking. I'm sat atop of my van right now, just enjoying this meal. And it's cool because I can talk at a normal volume without having to like shout at you all the way over there because of this nice little wireless mic setup I invested in, which is starting to pay off immensely. This asparagus turned out great. We're about to dig into the steak. Does anybody else like to eat their sides first before they dig into the main dish? I've always been that way ever since I was a kid. I always like to save the main dish for last. I don't know why. I must say, compliments to the chef. I think this turned out pretty well. Honestly. So I think the thing I want to talk with you guys about as we enjoy this meal together is this idea of time. I'm not trying to get too philosophical with this. I'm just going to kind of share some of my recent experiences with this. But this idea of time has been on my mind a lot lately, especially since I've moved into the van, because once you're in the van, you become extremely acquainted with your use of time. Certain things do actually take longer. Cooking does take a little bit longer, as we saw earlier, but not that much, but it takes a little bit longer, and that takes some getting used to. Brushing your teeth takes a little bit longer if you don't have access to a sink. You gotta rinse out your little toothbrush with a water bottle, and these little things just kind of add up and they take up more of your time. When you live a lifestyle that acquaints you with the cost of time for your everyday tasks, if you're anything like me, you start thinking bigger picture and you start going, well, what the heck am I doing with my time? My time in the grand scheme of things. Like, what am I doing with my life? That's the question. When I consider this, I think we should all have a certain mission or a certain purpose that we throw ourselves at, that we kind of flip into this frame of like self-sacrifice as opposed to being selfish with what we do in our day-to-day. So for example, the everyday tasks of living, like working out, eating healthy, cooking a meal, brushing your teeth, making your bed, doing all that, that is to maintain the machine of your body. Those are just the basics. But so many of us live lives year after year that are just comprised solely of the basics. Like, you ate super healthy. Oh, great, good for you. Oh, you spent the whole year working out, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Good for you, you know what I mean? And so many people just base their entire lives off of fulfilling these ultimately selfish, self-maintenance tasks. And that's how they use their time. I think that a life better lived is one in pursuit of a greater mission, something that's bigger than you, something that makes you forget to do those things, something that makes you forget to sleep. Get your precious 8, 9, 10 hours of Andrew Huberman, Brian Johnson, health biohacker beauty sleep. Something that makes you forget to eat. You skipped your meal. You're outside of your fasting window now. Oh no, like some kind of mission that makes you put these daily selfish tasks to the wayside. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. And if I'm being completely honest, I've not really found that mission yet. I've been searching for a while, and I still feel like I've not really found it. You know, I think we have little bursts of it. We have little chapters where we think we found it, and maybe that's okay, but ultimately, you want to find that one big thing, you know, that one big project, that one big mission, that one big goal where it doesn't feel like work. You are beholden to it. You are sacrificing yourself to the greater cause of that mission, right? This mission can take the form of many different things for many different people. Sometimes people, it's their family. Other times it's a business. Other times it's a YouTube channel, or other times it's some kind of a book, you know what I mean? Or a film if you're a filmmaker. Something that demands your full focus and attention, that makes you forsake those selfish, self-maintenance tasks of everyday existence. I think that is time best spent, if you ask me. And so if we're talking about time, I've just been in this place where I've been wondering, how can I use my time towards something like that? Instead of, doing the basics like cooking steak and asparagus in the middle of a field like a crazy person and talking to myself like a crazy person. I think there's more to life than this. But, at the end of the day, I am making something here. I'm making something that entertains you, maybe shows you a different slice of life that you don't usually see every day. This isn't just self-maintenance. This isn't just cooking a meal so I can stay alive. Since I'm recording it and I'm showing you in a unique light, it is something else now. But I don't know if this YouTube channel is my main mission. I don't know if that is what I should be doing. It could turn into my mission. I'm open to that. But as of right now, I've not really found that bigger mission. And you know what? It's okay. I think it'll present itself to me. It'll either present itself to me, or I'll just snap one day and I'll just make it happen. I don't know. But at the end of the day, man, until that day comes, I think cooking a steak, eating outside, enjoying a beverage on a cool summer's day, it ain't that bad. This is just a step towards that mission. However small and however tasty it might be, I guess. So I hope that made sense. And man, is this steak actually really good. I'm not gonna lie. Usually I mess up steaks. I'll admit, I'm not the best at cooking steaks. This is seriously one of the best steaks I've had in weeks, months. So, hey, you know what? You take your small victories where you can get them. I'm happy. We're having a good time. And I think that's where I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, you guys. So, I hope this was entertaining in some way, shape, or form. If you have any questions whatsoever about my cooking setup, how I cook, what I cook, or anything else about, you know, living out of my van, my build, things like that, I'm always, as you know, more than happy to field those questions. Until the next video, guys, thank you very much for tagging along with me as we cook this meal out here in the middle of a field on a nice summer's day. I will see you in the next video. And until then, Godspeed, good luck, and God bless. Peace.